Alright, let's see if we can get to work fabricating the rest of the bed for this wagon. So the first step here is we need to start making some holes for these little mounting pieces. So really what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can drill a hole through this 3/8 inch material and see if we can actually be able to put a bolt straight through there. So that's what we're going to start on. So being that we have to drill through this really thick material, of course I didn't neglect the opportunity to purchase a new tool. So what we have here is a mag drill. This mag drill is going to work a whole lot better than just a standard drill. A standard drill, you're going to break bits, possibly burn bits, and it's just the process is going to take forever, especially with material this thick. This will give us a really sturdy base and almost kind of work like a drill press that's going to be able to get through that steel quite easy. The other thing is that it doesn't use standard drill bits. It uses these milling type bits. And so that's going to work to move a little bit quicker, and it's also not going to burn out quite as bad. So let's see if we can try this out. All right, crank it up. Oh, I see. Yep. All right, so these turned out pretty well. The next thing is we've got to get these monsters up here on top of these brackets. Hopefully we can get those mounted up there. We're going to tack them in place, and that'll be a good starting point. Alright, so we got these big beams tacked in, so hopefully they'll be stable enough so we can actually go through and actually weld them in. The big thing is right now is you always tack things in first just to make sure that everything is exactly the way you want it. I'm going to go back through, I'm going to measure everything, I'm going to level it out, just make sure that everything is exactly how I want it before I make it permanent. So the next thing we need to work on with this wagon is making sure that we have a little bit of racking strength with this bed. Now what I'm planning on doing is I want to take a part of that 5x5 material steel that we have, and I actually want to close these pieces in. I want to make this frame, this main frame, completely independent with holding itself together, so therefore it's not actually relying on these top cross members to keep it from kind of bowing in and out like this. So that's going to be my next plan. The only problem is that 3/8 5x5 steel is so heavy. So I'm hoping I've come up with a certain way that I can actually hold this thing up there while I'm tacking it in. Don't break it, bro.
Okay. Well, this thing's maybe it's heavy.
No, it's not as heavy as this liner. Yep, that'll do. That'll do.
Take it in, take it in. Maybe. I'm down for it.
I mean, it's right here.
Yeah.
Turn on.
Work smarter than harder. Nothing's sitting on this, right?
Huh?
Nothing's going to sit directly on this, right? Why'd you do that?
I don't know. Impatience. Impatience. Under there. I was basically holding the welder like this, and I didn't realize it was cooking my glove.
Yes, it was.
So like, you see how it's all like curled up. I didn't notice until my finger started burning. I was like, what is that feeling?
Jack it up.
It's hot. All right. So now that we've essentially made a big rectangle, hoping that that will be enough to prevent any really severe racking, which would be inaccurate, what we need to do is we actually need to put some cross members in this way, and that will actually help us out there because, you know, triangles are stronger than rectangles. See, I was paying attention to geometry. out there probably thinking, Philip, I really like your triangles, but the best way to actually make this strong would be to actually X the entire frame. And as far as that aspect goes, I completely agree with you. The issue is cost. Steel is really high right now, and that would probably be another $600 of steel just to actually make those members go all the way across like that. So hopefully this will be strong enough. All right, so the other night we got as far as getting these cross members put up here on this frame. It got really late, it got a little dark, couldn't really see very well, and I don't really like working where I can't see. So what we did was we got just these tacked up. So today we've got a ton of welding to do. But the good thing is it's actually starting to look like a wagon. Man, that was misery. That was a lot of welding, but thankfully we got the majority of that done. So the next thing we need to do is we need to figure out how it is we're going to mount the wood top on this. Now the wood is going to really serve as more of a protectant more than anything. It's going to serve as a cushion between those big boulders that we got to carry around and the steel itself. So that way we can dent the wood, not the metal, and then just replace the wood if we have to. Now the problem is we need to figure out a way that we can mount that. So what I'm thinking is we'll take a piece of angle iron, weld that to the inside of here, and that'll give us a surface that we can actually put a hole through in order to mount a carriage bolt to that without weakening the actual support member of the steel itself. So let's see if we can get that worked out. right, last night, after getting all of the brackets welded in that are going to actually hold the bed down this wagon, I was kind of looking at this and I'm kind of concerned. Now, I did the math on this, assuming that my math is correct. The members that are overhanging here, on the very, very end of that, if I were to put weight on an inch of the outside edge, which is not going to happen, but bear with me, the math says that that'll be able to support 2,000 pounds of dead static load. Now, I'm not smart enough to do the math that is involved to actually figure in how much weight it can support now that it's actually tied to each member is tied to the next one in line, with this bar being on the end of it. But I'm kind of concerned that, you know, obviously static loads are one thing, but the reality is that I'm moving big boulders around. It's very likely that one is going to end up falling out and falling on top of this, on this platform, and I'd hate to bend the thing. And so I was looking around. I've got quite a bit of extra steel left over from putting in these cross members. So what I kind of thought was, maybe if I actually gusset these in here like this, just using this scrap steel, one, I can use up the scrap steel, not having anything left over, which steel is way too expensive to just leave it laying around right now. But two, if I were to gusset every other member, I think that'll give me quite a bit of extra strength. So yeah, as the sun was going down, I decided last minute, in continuing on with the tradition of working all day and into the night, I went ahead and cut all that up. So anyway, let's get that started. Probably not best to weld in the rain. Well, unfortunately, the reality is we've got a lot of storms coming in. It's really hard to get any kind of work done at this time of the year just because we're always having to try to work in between rainstorms. So I guess while I'm trying to wrap up this little bit left of fabrication, I guess you can just watch the storm come in and catch me. So here we go. As most of you know, it is almost impossible to do any kind of MIG welding in the wind. With this storm blowing in, it's just whipping away all of my shielding gas, and I don't really have any way that I can actually do stick welding right now, so that's unfortunate. I really wanted to try to see if I could actually get all the fabrication done within this video, but the reality is that this video has gone on long enough. There's already too much stuff in it anyway, and it's taking me forever to edit all that footage. With the next video, we'll catch up with doing the rest of the little bit of fabrication I have left. We'll see if we can paint this thing, put some wood on it, and that'll be the end of the wagon project, and finally we can actually move on to another project. So anyway, I really appreciate you all watching. Make sure you comment, subscribe, let us know of any way we can actually improve this stuff. We're learning as we go. Until then, I'll catch you on the next video.